In a move sure to ignite fierce debate, President Trump signed the Locke-and-Riley Act into law on January 29, 2025. This act grants sweeping new powers to detain and deport immigrants accused of crimes. Simultaneously, President Trump ordered the Department of Homeland Security to prepare Guantanamo Bay Naval Base to house up to 30,000 criminal illegal aliens. This unprecedented decision marks a significant escalation in the administration's hardline immigration policies. It has drawn immediate condemnation from human rights groups and legal experts. They cite serious concerns about due process, potential human rights abuses, and the use of a facility with a troubled history. The Trump administration argues that these measures are necessary to combat crime and deter illegal immigration. They point to the tragic case of Locke and Riley, a young woman murdered by an undocumented immigrant, as justification for the new law. The decision to utilize Guantanamo Bay, however, has sent shockwaves through the international community. Many see it as a betrayal of American values and a dangerous precedent in the treatment of immigrants. The Locke and Riley Act significantly broadens the categories of crimes that can lead to the detention and deportation of immigrants. Previously, only serious felonies triggered mandatory detention. The new law includes misdemeanors such as theft, DUI, and assault. Furthermore, the law empowers state attorneys general to sue the federal government over what they perceive as lax immigration enforcement. This provision has raised fears that the law will be used to target undocumented immigrants for minor offenses, leading to mass deportations. The act has been met with both praise and condemnation. Supporters, including many Republican lawmakers and some Democrats, argue that it is a necessary step to protect American citizens from dangerous criminals. They believe it will deter illegal immigration and restore law and order. Opponents, however, view the law as discriminatory and unjust. They argue that it will create a climate of fear among immigrant communities and lead to racial profiling. Legal experts have also raised concerns that the law violates due process rights guaranteed by the Constitution. The selection of Guantanamo Bay as a detention center for immigrants has further inflamed the debate. The facility, located on leased Cuban territory, has long been a symbol of American overreach and human rights abuses. Its use to house suspected terrorists after 9/11 drew international condemnation. The administration plans to expand the existing migrant holding facility at Guantanamo to accommodate the influx of detainees. Reports suggest that other areas, including a golf course, may also be repurposed. Logistics remain a significant concern. The Department of Homeland Security will be responsible for transporting detainees to Guantanamo, a costly and logistically complex undertaking. Funding for the expansion and operation of the facility will require congressional approval, which is far from certain. Critics question the suitability of Guantanamo for housing a large population of immigrants, many of whom will be asylum seekers fleeing violence and persecution. They argue that the facility lacks adequate medical and mental health care, educational opportunities, and recreational facilities. Section 4. Justifications and criticisms, a nation divided. The Trump administration defends its decision as a necessary response to a crisis at the border. They argue that the influx of undocumented immigrants has overwhelmed Border Patrol resources and led to an increase in crime. Furthermore, they claim that the use of Guantanamo Bay will serve as a deterrent to potential migrants, discouraging them from making the dangerous journey to the United States. The administration also hopes that the threat of detention at Guantanamo will pressure other countries to accept deported criminals. These justifications have been met with skepticism and outrage from human rights groups, legal experts, and the international community. They argue that the administration is exaggerating the threat posed by immigrants to justify draconian policies. Amnesty International condemned the move, stating that the use of Guantanamo Bay to detain immigrants is a shameful stain on the conscience of America. Human Rights Watch called it a blatant violation of international law and a dangerous escalation of the Trump administration's assault on immigrants. Section 5. A legacy of controversy, Guantanamo's troubled past. The decision to detain immigrants at Guantanamo Bay evokes a dark chapter in American history. Established in 1903, the base was used to house Haitian and Cuban refugees in the 1990s. However, it gained notoriety after 9/11 when the Bush administration repurposed it as a detention camp for suspected terrorists. The conditions at Guantanamo Bay have been widely criticized. Detainees were subjected to torture, indefinite detention without trial, and other forms of ill treatment. The facility became an international symbol of American hypocrisy and disregard for the rule of law. The Obama administration pledged to close Guantanamo Bay but faced stiff opposition from Congress. While the number of detainees was significantly reduced, the facility remained open. President Trump's decision to expand the use of Guantanamo Bay for immigrant detention reopens old wounds and raises serious questions about the future of American justice and human rights. It remains to be seen how this controversial policy will be implemented and what its long-term consequences will be.